a C++ program. So we have a very basic structure to the most simple program that we can have, which would be int main. So we aren't going to worry about the syntax of this yet, because this is something we learn later on in class. This is just something that we have to run our C++ programs. So this is called our main function. The main function is when you run your program with /a.out, it is going to call the main function. So the main function doesn't do very much for us because there's nothing in it that we're telling it to do. So we need to start including some libraries. So we can use the preprocessor like this. We can include IOStream. And when we type this line of code in our program, what is going to happen is we are going to load this entire library. That's all that line of code is going to do. It's going to say, okay, if I ever see cin, if I ever see cout, if I ever see this other stuff in this program, I'm going to know what to do with it. I'm going to know if I see cin, we're out inputting from the terminal. The stream is the terminal. The cout means we're going to be outputting to the terminal, to the stream. Okay. So then now that we have that, we can include our, well, not include as in the code include, but we can include our main program or our main function. That's not how you spell main. That's how you spell main. And that's a very basic program that now actually has some things that we can do with it. We can spit something out to the screen, spit it out to the terminal. And this is going to be in most programming languages. Most times when you start a program, this is where you're going to start right here. So we can do this going std : This right here is saying, one second. If you look here, standard. All these are part of the standard library of C++, aka vanilla C++. So we can circumvent having to use that, but for this example, we're going to show that. So we're going to do std cout. And this cout, all that is right here, cout, standard output stream. It's just going to, you can always go to this website, click on something and read all about it. C++ 98, C++ 11. Things don't change too terribly much between them, but there are some differences. For the purposes of this class, there isn't that much difference between them. But it just outputs things to the screen when we use cout. And then we can use the stream insertion operator. This is the stream Okay, let's do that in a different color. And what this is going to do is it's going to say anything that comes here, I'm going to output it to the terminal. So we can output some text to the terminal. There we go. By saying, hello world. And then I believe it is \n. And this program right here is the most basic program that you can have. It will output hello world to the screen. And let's look at that really quick. So let's open up our command line. I'm doing something for you guys' Discord server that I'm waiting for this server to do. But it's getting in the way a little bit. Sorry. Okay. So let's just do this through a basic command line. So let's change our directory to the desktop. And then let's show everything on the desktop because the name I want to make is taken, of course. So we can just use, so say this is the name I want to use. I don't want this file anymore. I can do rm hello.cpp. It will remove it. It's no longer there. Deleted the file. Use that with your own risk. Just don't delete stuff you don't mean to delete because it's gone forever when you use that command. All right. So we will emacs hello.cpp and it will bring up our emacs. We can include IOStream, which is including IOStream, the library using the preprocessor. We can use our main function so that we have an entry point into our program. And then we can use standard library. We're going to use cout. We're going to use the stream insertion operator to say anything that follows is going to be output to the terminal. And then we can say hello world \n semicolon. We can do Control X, Control C to bring up asking if we want to save the file. Press Y to save the file. And then we can compile our program with G++, hello.cpp. CPP is going to be the file extension for all C++ files. So when we do that, it will take a second sometimes. Sometimes it will be instant. We can run our program. If we look, we have a new file called a.out. Let's see, I should have it right here. See, here is these are just straight up on my desktop. They'll be created right on your desktop. You'll be able to watch them be created right there. And you also can see them right there. So we've got hello, our program, in a.out. We can run it by using the Linux command /. Well, I think the command is technically just dot. But / is going to be like the file path before us, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that. They never really explained that. But okay, and then a.out is the file we want to run. And we get hello world to the screen, which is exactly what we told our computer to do. So this is kind of annoying to use all the time. So we can remedy that. So you're always going to be including IOStream in pretty much like every program you make, but like in this program, every program you make. You may not always use IOStream, actually. That's kind of a lie, but like for this class and a lot of classes at UNLV, you will use those. And then, so we don't want to do this anymore. We want to clean that up a little bit. So we can use namespaces. And all that's saying is, I don't want to use this anymore. Let's not do that. Let's just, instead of doing this, let's just do this. Oh, so that's strings. I guess I should explain that a little bit for you guys. So, whoopsies. So you guys just saw me say this. What was it? Back this way and something like that? Let me just double verify that for you guys. Other way. Backslash. So what this is saying is, I want to go to the terminal and I want to spit out hello world. But instead of I don't want my command line to start there. Because if we switch back over, you see my command line started down here instead of being right here. If we go into Emacs, if we take out this \n, and then we do Control X, Control C, Y, it will save it, and then G++ hello.cpp, and then /a.out. See, we get hello world, and the command line goes onto the same line, which that's really ugly and hard to like follow, and like moves your command line around, and nobody wants to see that. We want it to be like this. So we need to remember to output a new line at the end of our string there. So how we can do that is we can either, I don't care which one you guys want to use, we can either do this right here, or you can go, you could either say cout hello world that, or you could say cout hello world end line. And any time, once you say a cout, any of these that it sees after it, it's going to continue putting them into the terminal. You can basically think of it as cout, I'm going to pack whatever is after this, I'm going to pack that into it. And then there's going to be more stuff after this one that I'm going to pack into it. And then if there was another one, the stuff after that, I'm going to pack it in after this one, and so on and so forth. So there's a couple things we should talk about on this line of code. Well, one thing in particular, and that's the semicolon. So in C++, you always are going to need to end a line of code with a semicolon, or else you'll get an error. So cout, hello, end line. That is going to finish our line of code. That's basically like a period in English. We're saying, this is what I want to do. I want to output something to the screen, and then I want to finish, move on to the next thing. This is what tells our program counter to move on to the next line of code. That's what tells our program counter where the ends of lines of code are. Okay, so let's go back up to here. Basically it makes cout a variable. Yeah, basically, but we haven't talked about variables, so, and that's going to be later on. Flushes the output buffer. You might not want flushes the output buffer. You might not want that. You probably just want, yeah, okay. And then, so we can clean up this std cout by using namespace std, and then we use int main cout hello world. Okay, so that's how we can clean up the basic program, is what it's called in your guys' notes. And then you can also, if you only want to use cout instead of including the entire library, so when we use that include statement, we're saying, here, one second, let me pull that back up from C++'s reference website, which is going to take a second to do. And we can go into input output and IOStream. And if so include is going to include all of this stuff. Say we want to only use cout. Well, we can say include IOStream using std cout. And that will only allow us to use cout. The program will only know cout. If you wanted to use cin as well, you would have to say using std cin. Okay, and that's pretty much the entirety of the PDF. We'll go over syntax versus semantics next class. We need to talk about your guys' assignment since it's due Tuesday at midnight. So let's go over that real quick. So does std make it so it uses a particular thing from the library? Std tells it we're using the standard C++ library, the C++ standard library. So your first assignment is pretty easy. It can be problem set 0. The linker, that's going to be when you're actually compiling your program, is the linker. The preprocessor is the includes. Or yeah, I guess that is the linker. Okay, yeah, that is the linker. Technically, you could say. That's how you link it to the library. Wait, what does namespace means? Yeah, namespace is your linker. That's namespace is gonna, it's gonna say this is part of the C++ standard library. I need to link this C out to this library. Using namespace will do that, or you could do the std thing, or you could do, where is it? This thing. Those are your options. Because you always have many options to do things in computer science. Many, many options, which is good.